Let's see how to create a new database and user in MySQL. I'm going to show it on Windows 11 using XAMPP, but if you are on Linux, the same steps apply. So first, we need to make sure that MySQL is up and running, and for me, I'm going to do it using the XAMPP control panel, and MySQL is green, so it's running. Next, we need our terminal or command line. So I'll right-click on the Windows Start icon and choose Terminal. And we now need to connect to MySQL. And here it differs a bit according to your operating system and configuration. If you are on Linux and have the default MySQL configuration, this is the command that you need to run in order to connect to MySQL, so sudo MySQL. Now, if the MySQL root user on your machine is configured to use a password, you're going to need this command, and here we specify the user, root in this case, and also specify -p. And what this does is prompt us for the password. I'm on XAMPP, so I'm going to use the third option, this one, and as you can see, it's identical to the second option, but here we also specify the path to MySQL on the computer. If you installed MySQL on a path that's different than the default path, you will have to update it here. But for me, it is the default path, so I'm just going to run this command. And the default password for the root MySQL user in XAMPP is no password, so I don't need to type in a password, I just hit enter. And we now logged in, and in my case it's MariaDB we logged into. We can now create our database, and this is done with this command, create database. And of course we need to replace DB name with the actual name we want for our new database. I'll call it example DB. The database was created, and we can move on to creating the user. So let's copy the next command. And here we need to replace username with the actual username we want. I'll call my user example user. And I'm also going to replace password with an actual password. And our user was created. We now need to give this new user privileges on the database we just created. Without privileges, the user won't be able to use the database. So to do that, we copy the next command. And of course, we need to replace DB name with the database. And we need to replace username with our actual user. And we can now exit from MySQL. And if we now open phpMyAdmin and refresh it, we can see here our new example DB. And if we get back to the home page and take a look at our user accounts, we can see our example user. And if we click on database, we can see that this user has all privileges to this database.